feature of your Sydney Swans. Cheer, cheer the red and the white, honour the name by day and by night.
Welcome back to A Bevy of Bloods, a fan podcast of the Sydney Swans Football Club.
So to all you loyal Swans out there, you just can't get enough of the red and the white.
Fluff up your tail feathers and settle in for a potentially biased yarn about all things to do with our beloved Bloods.
G'day there, Cygnets and Swanlings. Welcome back to A Bevy of Bloods. You're joined as always by the crew from Sydney. I'm Harps. I've got Noddy along for the ride, and in a fourth quarter substitution, sound guy Waughsie is going to be chipping in tonight as well.
That's right, you lovely loyal Swans fans. Today we're going to be talking about our win over the Lions and look ahead to the game on Sunday afternoon against the Cats at the SCG. And remember, if you like what you hear, give us a like and follow. Righto, let's kick things off with a quick game recap.
Yeah, good to get the win. Saturday afternoon, packed Gabba, full of Lions fans. Our boys, the Swans, got it over the Lions. 2 points at the end. That was a nerve-wracking final minute, you'll all agree. But we won 13-12-90 to 13-14-92, almost identical scores. Noddy, start us off, mate. I know you couldn't watch live, but you watched the game back afterwards. What do you think about it?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Look, my three words are off the top. I'll take it. You know, it wasn't perfect. It was really good for most of it, and then obviously we gave them a sniff at the end, and they very nearly nabbed it from us. It would have been one of the all-time great finishes, I think, for them. But look, they beat us by 4 in round 1 at the SCG, and we get them by 2. Should have been, probably 4 goals really at the Gabba at this point in the season. Still doesn't really make up for where we are, and obviously the nightmare that was last year, September. But it's a start. We've had this little voodoo against the Lions, and it's good to sort of get the monkey off our back. And look, I think it's another solid game that we can launch pad into 26. How about you guys?
Yeah, nice to put them down up at the Gabatoir, wasn't it? Good win. Waughsie, you're on the podcast every week, obviously, doing the sound and the editing, but welcome in a speaking role, mate. What are your 3 words?
Thanks, mate. I was going to say glimmer of hope until you dashed my my hopes with some stats. So I'm going to say bring on 26.
Bring on 26. Looking bright for the future. Yeah.
And Waughsie, of course, you're talking about the fact that we thought there was still a very skinny chance that we could maybe sneak through.
Yeah, at the end of the game Saturday afternoon, we were 8 points off 8th position, GWS in 8th. A lot of 8s in that little segment there. So until Sunday afternoon when the Giants put North Melbourne away clinically and went 12 points clear of us with 2 games left, we were technically still in the finals hunt for about a day there. A small glimmer of hope. Things would really have had to go our way.
Yeah, it was certainly wafer thin, but you gotta dream, right?
That's right. And look, we've won 7 of our last 9, right? So we're actually in really good form. It's just some of these games that we'll look back on, when we do the season review and go, God, what would this year have looked like if we, for example, pinch that win at home against the Lions where we go down by 4, we probably should have won. Those 2 games that we lose by 8 against the Bombers, we were woeful, but and then I think it was Port, we lose by 8. I mean, there's a lot of games in there first half of the year where we were shocking. And let's face it, there were some shocking games in the second half of the year when the Stars came back. But yeah, it's just sort of one of those seasons that could have been, I think. But it was great. I thought, not to take anything away from the team this week, I thought we had a great game. It was great.
Yeah. Probably a good segue into my 3 words, boys. And I've actually got a sound effect.
I always forget to ask you. Sorry, Harps. Feel bad about that. What are your 3 words, mate?
3 words are up the Bloods.
Yes.
So just delighted to win that one, right? They are, they've had it over us for a while. I was disappointed with that loss earlier in the season too. I thought we played really well against them down at the SCG. Just gave it up third quarter from memory. But Look, I didn't think they were at their best. I can remember them putting it out in the full at least 3 times, probably more on reflection. But equally, look, we missed a lot of fourth quarter goals as well. Right, Sheldrick comes to mind. I think Cleary missed one after that as well. So we weren't at our best either. So I was just delighted to win, to be honest. There's no finals to play for. I just enjoyed it for a game of footy against a team that we've had a bit of a rough trot against. So yeah, up the Bloods.
Yep, I'll back that in, mate. I think it's a funny game. Like if you think about it, just in overview, like we started. It was such a high octane ping pong type. From their D50, their forward 50, from our D50 to our forward 50. Very low pressure game, and that's kind of indicative of the Lions. They sort of like to control things away from the contest. Like the kick mark sort of game, and funnily enough, they did sort of do that, and I think it was like when they win the kicks, I think it's either the kicks or the marks by a certain point. This is last year, they win like every single game. And I can't remember what it was. It was like, 20 or plus 16 or whatever it was. But they actually, they beat us in inside 50s. They had plus 13 inside 50s. They had plus 30 kicks and plus 29 or plus 30 odd marks. So by all accounts, they probably should have beat us on that game plan that's been successful for them. But we were more efficient scoring goals and turned it over less, and we had plus 15 contested possessions. So I think when there was a little bit more pressure in the game, we were a little bit more, put a bit more heat around it. But yeah, I think they had a bunch of players out really. Like, didn't they have a few more injuries than us? Anyone remember? I think it was.
Yeah. Look, I was saying that the injuries coming at the wrong time for the Lions, aren't they? They're fast falling away from what's been a good season. Could easily finish. I'm just looking at the ladder. Actually, could easily finish, maybe even with an away game. An elimination away game. I mean, it's a final. So, from a team that was top 2 a couple of weeks back, yeah, they're in a bit of a sour patch now, aren't they?
Yeah, well, they got smashed by the Suns by 66, and then bounced back and beat the Pies, who are also in a bit of a downturn, and then we beat them at home. So you'd be a little bit nervous, I think, if you're a Lions fan, but at least they're still in the hunt, I guess.
Yeah,
but yeah. Look, I think we had some amazing individual performances, and we'll touch on that in the Bob for sure. But yeah, look, I don't know. I just think have we already spoken about the incident?
You mean the wandering hands?
The wandering hands, the high fives that missed each other,
Inappropriate touching,
inappropriate, potentially consensual touching.
Yeah, well, no one complained.
They each gave as good as they got, right?
Well, that's it.
Yeah, it
If
seemed
you can
that
cop
way.
it, you got to be prepared to dish it, right? Other way around. If you can dish it out, you got to wear it. You got to be able to cop it. 2 wrongs don't make a right. This is all, it's all making sense. But
we
yeah.
hadn't discussed that, Noddy. Yeah, we hadn't.
We hadn't. No,
Answer
okay.
your question.
Yeah, cool.
But we have now.
We have now. It's out in the open.
Look,
I mean, there's all sorts of jokes.
Yeah.
Sorry,
They didn't
comment.
want to discuss it by the looks of it, did they? Yeah.
No,
No one
that's
said
right.
anything. Just let it fade away into the abyss. I was just looking at the Lions. Yeah, they've got the Dockers away next week, and then they've got Hawthorn at home the following week, right? So that's a really hard little run home. They could, that could be the start of the end for them.
Yep.
Anyway, enough about the Lions. Shame they couldn't beat us, but we were just too good. Waughsie, what do you think of the game, mate? You've been to every game this year, home at least, and a few away games as well, mate. What did you think of the game?
I loved it. It was an absolute roller coaster. I had the joy of watching it at your house with your 3 lively children bouncing off the walls, which always adds to the vibe. I really, really enjoyed it. It was very, very tense at times. I did find myself jumping out of my seat at times. I mean, that Heaney mark, my God, that had us all in the air.
That was
almost
a beauty.
as high as he was. And I think one of his snap goals was very, I can remember jumping out of my seat and screaming quite loud and then looking around quite embarrassed. But, yep, loved it. Loved it.
Yeah.
That was a masterclass, I think, on Heaney. I mean, I don't know if we just start talking about Heaney now, but
Well, when do we get into the Bob? Right? I mean, we
let's do
can
it.
a bit of a spoiler. I mean, that he's coming first, so. I mean, I think we want to talk about. There were so many good performances. Why don't we get into the performances? So first up, Noddy, your boy Sheldrick had a great game. Really, actually could have set it alight if he could kick a couple of goals. But what do you think of his performance, mate?
Oh, mate, I've been, obviously 1 point goes to Sheldrick, so well, I'm not the only one who's been big on him for a while. I can kind of oversee his occasional wayward kicking on his right. I mean, let's not forget he laced out, I think it was Braden Campbell who kicked his first goal on his right foot. So he can kick. It's under pressure. It's the time on the ball, and he's still a young player. Like we said, it's effectively his third season. He was ruled out for most of it last year. I had a particularly heated debate online with the Swans fan about how if he just got more game time, he'd be getting. I think I actually said he'd be averaging 26, and I mean he's not averaging that now, but this is a game indicative of his capability. So it's 26 touches at, I think it was like 69%. So obviously not great, but let's all remember when Rowie started to go through the middle, he was like 40, 50, maybe 60% disposal efficiency. So when you're in that role to sort of hack it out, you just got to hack it out. And look, the precision will come later when there's a bit more experience and maturity and time on the ball, but he's showing everything at this point. His justification for his recent extension, and the fact that I think he was widely touted, but he went at the end of first round when we picked him up. So this was another beaten steal, I think. But yeah, he's just was brought in as that Joey Kennedy replacement, not the same size and stature, but that sort of grunt. He's an in and under player who happens to have a very lovely left foot that people are not focusing on. They're looking at the right, and obviously he kicked 1-2, but he also had 3 goal assists, 11 score involvements, and that was best on ground. But yeah, I just thought it was, and he had a bunch of meters gained. It was like 500 or something, whatever it is. Yeah, Gussie Sheldrick. I mean, I've been on the Gus bus since day one, really. But
You have, mate.
starting
You
to
have.
reap the rewards.
Yeah, nice to watch him maturing. He's got a lot of. I mean, this was he going back to your 3 words? It was glimmer of hope or bring on 2026. He's one of those players, along with Fuller, for me, that I'm really excited about next season. I think they'll both do really well next season.
I would have to agree. I love his tenacity and his strength. He seems to have just landed straight in the team and just fitted right in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
I think especially if you've got a player like, I think Chad, who's so, he's quite X factor, and you've got a hardworking, honest, accountable midfielder like Sheldrick, and Rowie, whose role sort of in the last little bit has sort of, changed somewhat. But you've got like hard workers and also a bit of class, and we've got that nice balance, obviously with Chad and Goulden and Heaney, but then you've got the Jordans, the Sheldricks, and the Rowbottom. So it's a well balanced developing midfield unit, I think.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
Could use a bit more height, I would say, but that's on the observation. Speaking of height, though, had a very good game. A lot of running and gunning off the back half line. Blakey, Noddy, you happy with his game?
Yeah. I think he had a good game. Obviously, we've already touched on the touchy-feely incident, but I think that with Cunningham back in, Rampy was there. Obviously, the back six, and the commentators were talking about this a lot. Like, it was just a very settled, well organised defensive unit, and we all know what Blakey can do and what he's capable of, which is just mind-bending, like highlights real shit. But also, he is capable of a clanger kick every now and then. But I just think that, especially in the last month, he seems to have freed up a bit. I think maybe the last 3 weeks, when the writing's on the wall that the finals is probably unlikely, that they've swung a few tactical things around, and he's sort of embracing more and more of that that hybrid of run and gun, which we know he can do, but also that sort of float back and intercept. So he stopped it a few times, which was good. He's still spoiling, so he's still putting defensive pressure on. But I just think, he's just such a unique player. He's as tall as a key defender, but he's as light-footed as a half-backer, if you want to use that term. But yeah, I think he was great. 20 disposals, 85%, a bunch of other stats, but really he just sort of stood out as one of our key contributors on the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Waughsie, Blakey's one of your favourites, I know.
I do love him. I've actually even got a pet lizard that I named after him.
Hang on, what do you call the lizard?
Blakey.
Blakey, yeah.
Obviously. Yep. What else would you call him?
Not lizard, for sure.
No. When he's naughty.
When he's naughty.
Yeah.
When he's off running amok. Yeah, that's when the
he's
lizard
only got
comes
3
out.
legs, so there's not a lot of running.
Fair play. Was that one of those lizard rescues that is gaining in popularity?
Yeah, you'll have to join my off-season lizard husbandry podcast to hear more.
I look forward to it.
Details in the description.
You liked his running gun though, Waughsie? The lizard Blakey, the 6'4" Blakey.
Yeah. I also like him with the guy with 2 legs. I think he's wonderful. He just seems to spark things and gives a real show every now and then, which is good. Particularly when things aren't going that great, he'll just liven it all up.
Yeah.
It's the kind of role where if we're losing or the crowd's against you, the home supporters, I mean here, like if we're frustrated with a performance, he's the kind of person that can turn the crowd with a clanger. To your point, Noddy. But a couple of times against the Lions, fearless, right? Which I think is important when you're in quite a hostile environment like that to play on when he did, and some of the kicks he took on, very brave, and he speared it into Heaney. I think twice. I think 2 goal assists he had, direct goal assists, both into Heaney in the pocket, both led to snaps. Just beautiful kicks, right? Heaney on a pretty tightrope run, surrounded by players, and Blakey picked him out twice from like 50 meters. He's got a lot of talent. Yeah,
perfect combo. Absolutely, and he burnt his Henry Smith a couple of times. I'm talking about, of course, when he runs past him, not in that little melee. But yeah, Blakey Heaney, that was one that was on show for sure. I think it's a good shout there, Harps. It's a good segue, obviously, to our man of the month, or probably close second for the season. 3 points, obviously, to Isaac Heaney. Just unbelievable, really. 5 goals, 1. Another specky that just rode. He just rode Dunkley. That would have felt good. I think he gave him a little glance as well at the end there. Just how high I got on you right now. But and then actually kicked it down the ground, and that was that Warner's first or second goal?
Chad's goal. Yeah. Beautiful.
What a play.
Yep. Yeah, it was. It was.
Mills to Heaney to Chad goal. Bang.
Yeah. I think there was someone in between, but yeah.
There was someone else, was there? Okay.
I think someone handballed it off. Papley, I think, anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, but look, it's why we buy the season tickets, right? It's stuff like that gets you out of your seat, even in the games where you can't make the finals.
That reminds me, that is exactly the point when I jumped out of the seat like a lunatic at your place. That was just such a beautiful, sort of path of play, and then the goal at the end, just gold. Love it.
Hollywood
Nugget was there as well. Did you say?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
He do you like that hanger? The heat.
Absolutely did. He didn't do much jumping in the air, just managing his back, but he was there. Enjoyed it.
Staying anchored. Yeah.
And you notice Chad did that little dribble goal again, the one that gets us all. It does look good. It does look good
when it comes off.
When it comes off. Yeah. But look, that's honourable mentions. Obviously, Chad had a pretty good game. Like, there were moments of brilliance, but then again, just a few moments of sort of skill, like poor skill execution. But I guess you take the good with the bad with Chad. He's very, very good, and I guess some of these, I don't know if it's rust or something. What do you guys think it is when he's missing these kicks and handballs? He did a few absolute hospital handballs.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
he
he always
did.
goes for the difficult option, right? He's
Yeah,
always trying to just be Hollywood, right?
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, as I commented in the chat, this week he was a little more Hollywood than Bollywood, which was good.
Oh, zinger.
Yeah.
No need to explain that one. That's great.
Snap. Good one.
With respect, I don't think he does a lot of thinking. Like some players you can watch and you think, I think they're thinking about the game, right? Dangerfield, I'd put in that category.
Gordon.
Grundy, Golden, yes.
Yeah.
All players that you look at and think, okay, I can see them, thinking strategy here. And there are others, I'd probably put Dustin Martin in the category.
Feelers.
Chad in that category. Yeah, feelers. Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I think they play a bit more on instinct, more unpredictable, usually kind of higher talent. So the swings between the good and bad games are a bit more extreme.
Yeah.
Look, I will say someone needed to just do what he did right at the end with 2 seconds left when he just thumped the ball as hard as he could off. Someone needs to do that. So bit of credit there. And look, when we won, he was on screen when we won.
Pumped.
And he was pumped. Absolutely, wasn't he? He was absolutely pumped. So that was good to see as well.
Yeah, looked like it meant something. So that's good to see, because I think in the past couple of weeks when we've sort of questioned his, if out of finals, so why bother sort of thing. There's been times when he's sort of given up the chase in defense and stuff. But yeah, it looked like it meant a lot to him and the group, to be honest. But did you guys see the replay where Coxie stands up at one point and bangs his head in the coach's box? I mean, he is like 2.5 meters tall or whatever, but he was one grumpy Cox. Confused, rather. He stood up. He's like, "What? When did the roof get there?" But
yeah, look, I've got an honourable mention actually. If you don't mind.
Yeah,
please.
I think the Messiah, Errol. I mean, he always plays a great game, but he didn't get any goals, but he's right up there. I think he topped our disposals on 29. And I was really impressed with his hands this week. Actually, across the team, I thought we had really fast hands, and we were getting the ball to each other really well, and that's meant that we moved it fast, and I think that was great for our attacking play. But really, really impressed with him as always. But
yeah, Waughsie, and the commentators picked up on that. I think it was the first half where the Lions were kicking more than handballing, but we were almost 1 for 1. Like we were moving it up the field through our handball chains, and it was devastating. We just sliced them open a couple of times, and yeah, for sure, like Goulden was a big part of that. And it was pleasing to see, because and that might have been game plan actually. Like obviously, keep the ball away from them because they obviously like to own it and chip it around. And we sort of looked a little bit like the red and white tsunami. Dare I steal a overused catchphrase? But
and it was wet, wasn't it? There certainly was some rain mid game.
Yeah.
So the conditions weren't ideal. But yeah, I thought I liked that game plan.
Yeah,
I was just comparing Golden. I agree. I completely agree. And he goes a little unnoticed sometimes, Errol. But I was just out of interest flicking between his match stats and his season average stats, and they're almost exactly the same. Like disposals 26, his season average is 25. Sorry, disposals 29, season average 26. Kicks about the same, meters gained about the same. He's just reliable, right? There's no real difference between his good and bad games. He just has good games. Like he's hit the ground running, come back.
Yeah, you mentioned that unbeaten run that we've had. I think was it 9 games? You said. I think it pretty much aligns with Goulden joining the team again.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cunners came in at some point a little bit earlier than that, but structurally, super important.
Yeah, he's made.
Obviously Mills as well. Like Mills was out for the first half of the season as well. Probably, and Marty.
Can I flip back one, Noddy?
Yeah, mate.
I know you like to do your numbers and think things through. Someone who doesn't pay much attention to the voting, how far is Heaney from the Brownlow, you reckon?
Well, I mean, that's interesting because, Grundy is like in the top 10 for coaches' votes. And I know that it's not always, it's the coaches' votes should actually probably be the Brownlow because it's a better indication of who was the better player on the night. But yeah, I think Heaney must be climbing the ranks quite subtle. Well, not subtly. It's not subtle when you're kicking bags of goals and taking hangers, is it? But and giving an absolute masterclass on how to kick with your left. Like, goodness, is he left-footed? I couldn't tell. At one point, I was like, no, he's just left-footed. He's just a left-footed kicker.
No, you can see him thinking about it, can't you? When he lines it up, has to really go through the steps.
Love it. I love a good routine.
Fourth game this season with 5 goals. Yeah.
There you go.
I'm really hoping you'd get his 6th.
Yeah, I mean, that's you'd probably say those 4 games is three, if not 2 Brownlow points. So it'd be interesting to see how it washes out, because it's usually more of a midfielder's award, right? But yeah, it's Grundy and Heaney, obviously, for us this year. Certainly in the Bob, and I think the coaches' votes will reflect that as well. But yeah, I think your point, Harps. I think it could be an outside chance. I mean, we all know he was bloody robbed last year with that ridiculous incident against St Kilda. We've seen like so many worse incidents than that since. But look, I just think it's probably that first half of the year where he was definitely a leader and contributing, but he, the team just wasn't. We weren't winning, so usually the points go to the team winning first to the ball, right? Most touches, most goals, all that sort of stuff. Not always, but it can come into play. So, yeah, what do you think, Harps? Are you thinking is an outside chance for a run, a deep push?
Look, I mean, when I was last paying attention to it, Dacos was up there. He's obviously fallen off the last few weeks. At least the Pies have.
They'll find ways to get him back up there. Don't worry.
Exactly. Well, look, I was just thinking the early season kind of leaders, Bailey and Dacos, and I think Bont's had a good season. If I think about things,
Noah Anderson's having a cracker as well. The Suns.
Yeah. Okay. But look, I mean, Heaney's been probably our best on ground in some games where we wouldn't get the 3 votes because we've been terrible. But Heaney's had some real standout games, right? I'd be surprised if he doesn't get 3 points, probably a handful of times. So I was just wondering. Yeah, and look, he's hitting form at the right time as well, isn't he? Like last month or so, he's been excellent. So I just wonder what you thought.
I think it probably realistically a top 15 finish, but yeah, he could easily surprise everyone, and that'd be great, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be great to see Nick Dacos drop out and Isaac Heaney? Anyway, this is not a Pies bashing podcast, but it can be when it needs to be.
Maybe before we look ahead, we'll do a bit of chat around what's on the internet, Noddy, Swans pages, that is, and also think about the Cats games. Let's just talk about the Tolley. He's very early in his career.
I love what we're seeing. Obviously, he's had that delayed start to the year with his back injury. He's done a good, whatever it is, month or so in the VFL where he's consistently performed and kicked goals. He's clean. He's got genuine X factor. I think we're already seeing that at top level. He's got time on the ball. He's making good decisions with handballs. He hasn't hit the board yet. Obviously, it would have been great to kick that goal with his first kick and join that illustrious club. But I think since then he's had maybe 3 or 4 behinds. But that's okay. He'll kick his first, and that might lead to a couple more in the few games remaining. But I just think if he has a good preseason, he can really establish himself as the probably second to Papley, to Papley and to Tolley. That's one hell of a left right, I think, in terms of small forward pressure and genuine goal threat. So it's exciting. It's really exciting. I think that the future is bright, and I just want to see some just hard work and application, I think. But that he was meant to have that. Like, he was a hard worker, and he was he was a small forward but ran through the middle. So Vic Metro, I think, in his year. So he can actually punch through the middle as well. So I think there's that whole element to his game that'll develop over the next 3 years. But yeah, I hope that he can. I hope he can really fulfill the promise he's showing early, for sure.
Yeah. while you were talking there about the fall behinds or whatever, I was getting flashbacks to Lewis Jetta kicking like 22 consecutive behinds. Remember that?
Let's see if he can beat that unwanted record. But yeah, hey, look, it just players take their own time to get there. Right? Look at Gus, right? He's sort of had his own unique journey so far, and it's all about continuity and confidence. And I think the team was smashed, but a huge lack of confidence the first half of the year, and it's all about like the body ready. They all said it. Like when they debuted, you saw the videos and stuff when they were handing the Guernsey over, and they knew from day one that he was clean and polished and a chance to debut early, but just had the injury setback. But he's bounced back. A lot of young players have these injuries early on, and it can wipe out their first few seasons. But I think the resilience he's shown already is really pleasing. So no doubt, I think he works hard behind the scenes, and I think he's definitely, I think he's one to watch. Hopefully he's going to excite Swan fans for a long time.
Yeah. And probably stay into the end of the season too, which could get another couple of runs out there.
For sure. Hopefully he kicks his first goal by the end of the year, right?
Yeah. Well, no better place to do it than Sunday, the G against the Cats. So let's look ahead. Obviously nothing to play for in terms of finals for us, but it'd be lovely to disturb the Cats run into September. I think we all think. Tough game, right? Grundy went down with a concussion on the Sunday after the Lions game, so Grundy's definitely going to miss the week from that neck injury when he was coming down off the mark. And McInerney injured his posterior cruciate ligament, PCL, out for the rest of the season. So a couple of outs. I was looking at the Cats actually. They have 3 players in the entire 44-man squad injured. How lucky is that guy? I mean, talk about being blessed running into September when you've got 96% of your players available or something. Anyway,
what do we say? Fresh farm air.
Yeah, that's right.
Salt baths and fresh farm air and very, very delicious milk.
Don't know what's down in the water down there on Port Phillip, but they're doing something right. But yeah, look, it's going to be a tough game, right? I think Grundy out is a really big miss. But Noddy, where do we start, mate? What do you think?
Look, I just think I think we just want to play well. I think it's definitely because the other part of it, and we've already spoken about this over the last month or so, is that it's been a very tough year for Coxie as his first year has inherited the list. With decisions on trade and draft pretty much done. Although he's a part of it, he wasn't the main driver of that, but he's done his best with what he's had, which was a shocking run of injuries to start the year. And so I think more than anything, 7 from 9. It's just keep winning and then carry that into the off season, the preseason, and hit the ground running. And who better to try and take a win away from than one of our respected rivals in the Cats. And it's going to be hard because they're playing very well. They've only had like 6 losses or something for the year, and of course I think they're still banging on about Jez's 100th. So obviously I don't want to help that at all. Even though I think he's a fantastic player, and it'd be great if he got there eventually. But yeah, I don't even want to give him 1, to be honest. But yeah, and I think we'll take that mentality in. I really do.
Well, I think he's 21 off 100, so it would be unlikely to see him kick the 100 at the SCG.
Well, it would be an absolute failure if he kicked that many. And
21, yeah.
But like I think it's by the end of the year they're lumping finals into it.
Yeah, Look, he's a good chance, and he's kicking very well. So yeah, good luck to him. Waughsie, I know they used to be your second team. You had a dog that supported the Cats, so you used to watch out for them, I think, didn't you?
Right, my dog, rest in peace, Jessie. She was from Geelong, and yes, she was absolutely a Cats fan.
I thought this was a bit when you guys first started, but this is sounding like increasingly heartfelt.
No.
Like I need to not make a joke of it now.
But I live in Sydney. I flew her up when I bought her from Geelong, and she obviously had spent time watching football because she just loved the whistle. Every time the whistle went off, she was ears up and watching the telly. So,
But only the whistles when Geelong was playing.
well, yeah, no. She comes from Geelong, so you assume, right? There
Right.
is a degree of assume, and the joke writes itself, right?
Yeah, cats and dogs, mate. Yeah, cool. Why did you buy a dog from Geelong? Just to follow this line of.
She was for sale on Gumtree, and we needed a dog, and I went, it was a good price, and good travel.
What?
So, I had a bike.
Okay, made a trip of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. How spurious.
Yeah.
I've got a deaf cat, guys, and we watch the dogs, and we hate the dogs. So it's the flip side to your scenario. But she can't hear the whistles because she's deaf. But yeah, geez, she hates the bulldogs, which is great because I do too. But
Since we're doing pet jokes, I also
well, we've had lizard tonight.
yeah. I also had a cockatoo.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, look, I don't know the last time. And did anyone look at this? I didn't even look at the stats, guys. Obviously, bit of steam has come out of the season with us knowing that we're not going to make finals, but we just know that it's there's two very proud clubs. Obviously, they've had our measure, on the big stage in recent memory, and I think all of this, all games now, help set you up for next year. So I think we should be coming into this like a raging bull and really do everything we can to knock them off. Last home game of the year, right? We're away in Perth the following week, so
We have nothing to lose, also. So go for it. We showed that we can bring it last week, and why not this week in front of a home crowd?
I was just looking back at the last few results, Noddy. June 2024, we beat them 112-82 at the SCG.
Nice.
June 2023, a draw, 54 apiece.
It was after the grand final, wasn't it? That one? There was a lot of behinds in that game.
After the grand final. And April 2023, I remember this one, down in Geelong.
Smashed us.
Yes, 130-37. Yeah, you're 93 points. You're right.
Yeah.
That's an ugly one.
Wow.
Yeah, but they are capable. Look, I was thinking this, when they run into the Brisbane game and the Geelong game, Brisbane, I think, are a more dangerous team. They're more explosive. But like, I watched quite a bit of the Cats. They're just relentless. They're just like Melbourne Storm or Man U back in the day. Just good players playing well. Very little variation. They just win games. So it's gonna be a tricky one. Dangerfield is, I think, coming back in as well. So it'd be nice to see him. Yeah. It is a handy in.
In terms of ins and outs, do we prophesize? I mean, obviously, we think Laddams will come in for Grundy, surely.
I think it has to be, right. Yep. Agree.
Yep.
And then McInerney out. Yep.
Yeah.
Do you reckon Florent will get another run?
It's going to be interesting.
I thought his goal was nice, to be fair. I didn't think he did a lot else, but love the goal. And look, I think if they haven't dropped him, they brought him back in. And if they haven't dropped him so far, I don't think they'll drop him now. So yeah, I think he will. I think he'll play the next two games, actually. Yeah.
Yep. Are we missing anyone else that is in the mix? Because it's Wednesday recording, so we've obviously got the injury lists released yesterday. Roberts, yeah.
Bice.
They're fit though. Everyone else is like mostly season. Grundy season test. Oh, Hayward is a test on his calf.
Yes,
so
Hayward could come back in. Yes,
so maybe he comes back in. But everyone else is season. Everyone's having a long break. But totally make way. Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, look, I think we just got to get out there and smash them.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think we'll get for a crowd? Do you think it'll be a big one or a mild one? Sunday Arvo, good slot.
Actually, I was looking at tickets for the family, and it's pretty full. There wasn't much available. Yeah, there's a lot of spare seats every day, but there's no big banks available. So I think it'll be a decent number. I mean, returning to a point you made there, I think it could go more than one of two ways, but there are two two ways which I think are worth talking about. One is that we play well and win ideally, or at least come close to winning, right? And I think people will leave last home game of the season thinking, it's been a rebuilding season, didn't go right at times, but enough positives that I can feel strong about next year, or we get flogged, right? And I think it's going to leave a really and get flogged in another one of those performances where we just go missing, which we all hate so much. And I think it'll leave a really bitter taste in everyone's mouth, right? Cox included, everyone included in the last home game. So I think they need to turn up and play, good football. Ideally win, but I don't mind if they play well and lose, right? Geelong are a good side, and I think honestly, I think we're going to struggle in the centre without Grundy. But if we turn up and it's an absence and they put 90 on us or something, there's going to be a lot of disappointed Swans fans.
Yeah, I mean, look, they are only behind the Western Bulldogs in average goals per game, right? They are kicking bags. They're 15 goals a game average. So, and we're only, what are we, 11 or something maybe? Yeah. So I think, still on 11. That's disappointing. Yeah. So hopefully, we can stop them from kicking a big score, because I mean their percentage speaks volumes, right? They're second on 15, one behind the Crows in first, but 139.8%, and that's like the second highest. So they are potent this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's frustrating, isn't it? They're obviously a very consistent club like us. Obviously, Horse has moved out, but Chris Scott is still there. Just, I don't like the man. Do you guys like Chris Scott? He's just annoyingly professional, and then he just keeps, God.
Don't you think it's a bit like the Weasley twins, and you can't tell which one's which?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the beard helps these days, the kind of the svelte beard, and whereas Brad's got that kind of nervous sort of maybe a little bit of extra weight. He's in the intense Melbourne bubble, so he's probably having a few extra snacks here and there to deal with it. But he's reframed it well, the Bombers coach, saying, "Oh, we're in a rebuild," which is news to me, but maybe not Bombers fans. But anyway, yes, I think if I had to choose out of the Scott twins, who I preferred, I think out of respect, Chris, obviously, but out of one-liners, I think Brad. He's a little bit like Ross Lyon in a way, that bloke. But anyway,
Noddy, what's out there on the pages in terms of rumours? Who's coming to Sydney?
Trades. So I've had a few. I've been staying up late. I've had a few text messages with Steve-O and also Sauce from the Rookie in Red and White. It seems like there's, well, at least amongst this tight-knit three I've just mentioned. But I think this is not news for Swans fans. We probably need a long-term rampy replacement, whether that's a third tall or a genuine tall. I think we're covered for talls, to be honest. So we probably need that sort of intercept, but also hybrid, so third tall. So there's talk of Callum Wilkie. We've been looking for a tall midfielder to replace Josh Kennedy since he left. So look, how nice would it be if we could maybe swing, who knows, Petrarca, maybe Oliver. There's a few other names around, and Melbourne's in a bit of a rabble at the moment with Goodwin out and no CEO or whatever's happening there. There's more chatter about Curnow. Is he in? Is he out? He's doing a bit of hokey pokey, I think, there. Myercheck is just a no-brainer. That needs to happen. We missed Hogan. We missed Stringer. He's an unrestricted free agent who wants a little bit of coin. We've got to make it happen. He can kick 40, 50 goals. And Ugle-Hagan, I just think that if he's free and gettable, we got to bring him in. But there's a lot of moving pieces. We'd have to lose some good players that I loved at the club for that to work. But I just keep thinking the key point here, and Steve-O mentioned this, was we've got to win a flag when Heaney's at his peak, and Grundy is still on the list, plus everyone else. But for me, it's that, and also Chad for another 2 years, right? So you've got this window to try and use these like league leading players. So if we just can make a few little adjustments here and there, and I won't go into who needs to probably make way for that to happen. We can do that over the following weeks, but I'd be okay to lose some good players so long as we get good players in that are proven, because I think with the system that we've got, the club culture we have and the system we have now, and that should be good over the off season. I think that we should bounce right back. I'd be disappointed if we're not in top 4 next year. That's my expectation.
Oof, yeah, big call.
Yep. So long
Good
as we can
stuff.
bring in some of these players that are, I think will push us forward.
Yeah. And as you say, look, maybe best to kind of let the management do their thing as opposed to prophesizing about who would exit the club. But I mean, to make those changes, you would be looking at quite a few outs, wouldn't you?
Well, at least 5. Yeah, I'm just keeping the same list structure: 5 in, 5 out. We've got to make way for 3 or 4 at the national draft. We've taken 4 in the last however many, maybe the last 4 drafts. We've taken 4. So so we've got to balance the rookie A list, the rookie B. We've got a lot of academy hopefuls coming through. My point is, lose some good players or some loved players for good players in return. We can make the money work, with the ins and outs. It'll level out eventually. But then I really, really want a strong VFL team. I think we were punished. Part of the reason we were punished this year with so many injuries, we had no senior players playing regularly as depth. We were pretty much stretched thin. So I want as good a VFL team as possible. You can't have all of it, but as much as possible. So that's and I've got the numbers and the names and everything. I can share it to you guys if you want. It's developing, so it's not really ready to send out into the ether, but I think Sauce from the Rookie and Red and White's got a few good ideas as well. I think we're mostly aligned. I think a lot of this chatter comes from media sensation. We're not privy to the conversations that the club and management have, and we don't really know what people are on as well because that's not disclosed. So, trying to balance the books as a fan is tricky. It's guesswork for sure, but I think we all know what the Swans need, right? We need a reliable defender, whether that's key defense or third, and we need a bit more potency up front. And it'd be really nice to have a tall mid, but whether we can make that all happen and balance the books, that's someone else's job.
Well, I know you think about it deeply, and it makes a lot of sense, Noddy. Before we head off, AFLW kicks off tomorrow night. It's Wednesday. We're recording here. It kicks off on Thursday. Waughsie, you were just recording for the bevy doing the AFLW podcast. Who was on the podcast this week, and what were they chatting about? Did they talk about zippy fish?
They did talk about zippy fish. Yeah.
Okay.
Chris and Steve-O are on. Obviously, very excited about this season opener. And they chatted about the ins and the outs, and they are very excited about Zippy Fish, who's currently got some great YouTube video, and so it looks like a really, really great addition to the team. Very excited to see her play. If you're in Sydney at 6:15, North Sydney Oval, straight after work, rock down there, have a few beers, watch the girls, give them some support. Yeah.
Give me a lovely weekend in Sydney this weekend as well. And I must say as well, as a first time into AFLW last year, it's a great game, so very exciting to watch and enjoyable. But I will say, economically, for a family or even attending on your own, the prices are fantastic. So there's no excuse not to get along. Great venues, great prices, and you get discounts on some of the like KO and other things as well. It is a great
Harper,
deal.
You've crunched the numbers. Come on, give it to the fans.
Okay, I'll give it to you straight. So you can get a season ticket every AFLW home game, $90, and you get $30 off your KO subscription for 6 months, which is $180. So you're effectively paid to not even go to a game. You get $90 to not even go to a game. Every game is free. I can't believe the deal out there. It is madness. Yeah.
Is it deal of the century?
Yeah, it's got to be close, Noddy. It's got to be close, isn't it? Yeah.
It's close. Yeah.
And kids, all kids free as well. So there is no excuse not to go along. It is a It's a great game. It reminds me actually when I used to go to AFL at these, VFL back then at these smaller grounds around Melbourne. 10,000 fans, 8,000 fans. There's a real great feel about it. So excited about that season kicking off as well.
Yeah, Chris said that he goes to every game. He'll be at every game. So if you want to catch up with Chris and have a chat, give him some feedback, there's your chance.
Obviously, Steve-O's still abroad in Finland or Canada at the moment, going home. And Jen, our resident guru, will obviously be in the mix as well this season. She just, I think she knows all there is to know about footy. Honestly, she's one of the best footy brains I've ever come across. Distinguished playing career herself and huge Swans fan, both men's and women's. So, look, it's I know that Harper, we bring the family regularly to games at in Marrickville, Henson Park, but I've never been across to North Sydney. But by all accounts, it's a good vibe there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Awesome.
Lots to look forward to. Big game against Cats, AFLW kicking off as well. So plenty still to come. That brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you for listening through to the end. Thank you, Noddy and War, for your opinions as well, guys. If you made it this far, we must be doing something right. So give us a like and a follow.
Whether in person or on the potty, we look forward to whenever you can join us next time. But until then, up the bloods and can't use Swanies. Come on, finish it off.
Come on. This podcast is an independent fan-run production and is in no way affiliated with the Sydney Swans Football Club, its players, or the AFL. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect those of the Sydney Swans or any official organisation. All commentary is intended for entertainment and discussion purposes only.